Could I see the text? Now, Honorable Senators, why I'm doing this is because last week, allowed a number of you to raise statements on behalf of your colleagues. And the very same colleagues came to my office complaining. So I need proof that indeed you carry instructions from your colleague. So as you look for the text, Honorable Senator Hezena, you may proceed.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And I rise on a request for a statement on the exploitation of young Kenyan girls on TikTok Live. Mr. Speaker, sir, I rise pursuant to Standing Order 53.1 to seek a statement from the Standing Committee on Information, Communication and Technology regarding the recent BBC investigation exposing the exploitation of young Kenyan girls on TikTok Live. Mr. Speaker, sir, the report, which ran on 3rd of March 2025, highlights serious concerns about child safety, the failure of digital platforms to enforce age restrictions, and the increasing vulnerability of minors to online predators. Many girls are being lured into exploitative activities under the guise of digital gifting and monetization features, raising urgent questions about the effectiveness of existing protections. Without stringent safeguards, these platforms risk becoming conduits for abuse, violation not only on the rights of children, but also Kenya's legal framework for child protection. There is an urgent need for government intervention to prevent the continued exposure of minors to such harmful content and to hold all responsible parties accountable. In particular, the committee should 1. Explain any measures in place to ensure compliance with Kenya's Data Protection Act in protecting minors' personal data from exploitation on digital platforms such as TikTok, Facebook, or Instagram, and provide details on how the Office of the Data Protection Commissioner is engaging with social media companies to enforce child data privacy and the steps being taken to strengthen regulatory oversight. Second, outline the legal and technical requirements for age verification on the said platforms and assess their effectiveness in preventing underage users from accessing harmful content while outlining any ongoing discussions with digital service providers to enhance enforcement and implement stricter authentication measures for age verification. Third, describe the frameworks in place to detect, regulate, and swiftly remove exploitative content involving minors and the role of the Communications Authority of Kenya in ensuring compliance, indicating whether the government has engaged with TikTok regarding its role in enabling such exploitation and commitments made by the company to prevent recurrence. Fourth, explain the enforcement mechanisms or penalties available for digital platforms that fail to comply with Kenya's child protection regulations and interrogate how government agencies, law enforcement, and child protection organizations are coordinating efforts to detect, report, and respond to online child exploitation. Last but not least, interrogate the steps being taken to improve public awareness, digital literacy, and online safety education, particularly among children and parents, and assess the effectiveness of existing reporting mechanisms for victims, parents, and the public addressing cases of online child exploitation and any planned improvement. Senator Ezena Lemaletian. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Seki.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. A request for statement on administration of the Universal Service Fund, USF. Honorable Speaker, I rise pursuant to Standing Order 53.1 to seek a statement from the Standing Committee on Information, Communication and Technology regarding the administrations of the Universal Service Fund. In the statement, the committee should address the following: the accountability mechanism in place to ensure transparency in the disbursement of funds from the Universal Service Fund, USF, and to prevent mismanagement and misappropriations of funds, providing an annual breakdown of the revenue and expenditure of USF from the 2022-2023 financial year to date. 2, the alignment of the project funded by USF with Kenya long-term digital information goals and their respective impacts on digital access, providing a list of all the projects undertaken from the year 2022-2023 financial year to date. To the extent of achievement of USF strategy goals, explaining why many areas across the country will remain undeserved or lack connectivity. 4, the reluctance of communication companies to expand network coverage in rural areas despite receiving tax incentive and regulatory support for the same. 5, the policy and regulatory interventions being considered to fast-track digital infrastructure deployment and to hold digital infrastructure contractors and service providers accountable for delay or substandard works. Honorable Speaker, I have the second one. Request for statement on the status of implementation of the National Digital Superhighway and the Last Mile Connectivity Project under the Universal Service Fund, USF. Honorable Speaker, I rise pursuant to Standing Order 53-1 to seek a statement from the Standing Committee on Information, Communication and Technology regarding the status of implementation of the National Digital Superhighway and the Last Mile Connectivity Project under the Universal Service Fund. In the statement, the committee should address the following: the status of implementation of the National Digital Superhighway and the Last Mile Connectivity Project under the Universal Service Fund, specifying the total kilometers of laid fiber optic cable and the number of digital village smart hubs established so far. 2, the challenges encountered in the implementation of the project and the actions taken to address them. 3, viability of public-private partnership, PPPs, in supporting the National Digital Superhighway and the Last Mile Connectivity Project, and whether the government has considered the same to supplement its efforts. 4, the measures put in place by the government to accelerate the implementation of the project for enhanced broadband access, particularly in rural and marginalized areas. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Senator Chimera.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. This is a request for a statement on behalf of Senator Jackson Mandago on the status of purchase of wheat from Kenyan farmers. Mr. Speaker, sir, I rise pursuant to Standing Order 53-1 to seek a statement from the Standing Committee on Agriculture, Livestock and Fisheries regarding the status of purchase of wheat from Kenyan farmers. In the statement, the committee should, number 1, provide a list of all licensed wheat millers in the country. Number 2, table the Memorandum of Understanding, MOU, between the Cereal Growers Association and the Ministry of Agriculture and Livestock Development regarding the purchase of local wheat by millers and the price paid per bag for the year 2024. Number 3, table a report of quantities of wheat purchased from the local farmers as well as quantities imported by each miller, explaining why the millers did not fully absorb locally produced wheat before purchasing the quotas allocated for duty-free import. And lastly, Mr. Speaker, state whether the wheat imported above the quotas attracted duty, and if not, state how much in cash equivalent the government forfeited on duty in the year 2024. Senator Raphael on behalf of Senator Jackson Mandago. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Now, honorable senators will make intervention on these statements for a period not exceeding 30 minutes. So if you have an opportunity to speak, keep it short. At most 3 minutes. Senator Richard Onyonka.
Mr. Speaker, I just wanted to say my apologies because as I was intending to think through, Madam Kavindu was engaging me, so I'll let it pass. Thank you, sir.